Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you guys once again for joining the 980s podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 980 Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining me. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@980capitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.980capitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at 980cap or at MLB to CFP. And subscribe to our Substack. Now what? Whew, a lot to say there. Today, I know a lot of you are up for renewals in your homeowner's insurance, and I want to take you through mine because I think it's powerful to see what's going on here in Texas and all over the country. How these insurance companies, when you see your escrow come through, you're like, hey, well, my mortgage has been the same, but why is my homeowner's going up? Why are my property taxes going up? Well, today we're talking about homeowner's insurance and what you need to be expecting. Let's get it. Let's start with part one, homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance has been climbing around the country, especially on the coast, but also here in Texas because you know what we get here. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, and a lot of hail. And you're starting to see your deductibles go up everywhere, especially in wind and hail here in Texas. And what they're doing is they're increasing the deductible on your wind and hail. What used to be a 1% deductible on wind and hail to get your roof replaced with a flat $5,000, not to exceed $5,000. That is now gone. I recently got my roof replaced with a 1% deductible. And all of a sudden, when I get a renewal in 2025, 2026, or 2026 and 2027, it says a 2% deductible on the home's value. Yes, the home's value. And not only on the home's value, the home has been valued 25% above, almost 25-30% above what the quote-unquote tax base is. It's so much higher. The valuations have gone out of control, but they're talking about replacement costs. Kevin, we're going to replace your entire home and everything within it. I get it, but the valuations are out of control because the tax base on your home could be somewhere in the low fours in my current, but the replacement value could be almost $550,000 to $600,000, and that is an issue because when you start talking about a 2% wind and hail deductible, that gets steep and that starts changing things. Today, I know a lot of you, we talk about education, and today is going to be strictly education because you're saying, why are my rates going up? Why are my costs going up for everything? My property taxes are going up. My homeowner's insurance is going up. What is the damn deal, Kevin? Well, hey, I'm going to take you through mine here in a second, but a lot of us run our full mortgage payment and we add in escrow with our insurance and our property taxes. So traditionally, we're used to having all of it lumped together and it comes out each month, right? Well, now we're wondering, well, hey, I owe another $100 a month this year or $200 or $300 a month this year. Why is that? Well, because your property taxes have gone up and your quote unquote insurance premiums have gone up as well. And I'm here to tell you why that is, especially here in the great state of Texas. Before we go into my current contract, I want to show you, why does this matter? Why does a 2% deductible matter or a 3% deductible matter in regards to wind and hail? Because the insurers know that that is where the majority of the cost is going to incur when you fix your home, especially here in Texas. So what are they doing? They're increasing the deductibles on that. But how are the consumers offsetting this? What roofers are doing and what other people are doing, they're starting to finance those deductibles. Now, when you hear the word financing deductibles, borrowing cash to pay for things, you start to think, this could go badly very quickly. Well, some roofers may have deals and all the other things, but the first thing I heard when I heard about financing deductibles, I was thinking, man, this doesn't sound like it's going to be a good idea. But that's where the industry is headed. They're going to start financing deductibles because deductibles have gotten so high. There's going to be players coming in over the top that are going to be able to give good financing terms, whether it be low cost financing for a 12-month period to fund those deductibles of 10 to 11,000 to get your roof replaced or what have you. Or they're going to go into more things like a HELOC or a home equity line of credit where you can borrow from that perspective. But again, rates are anywhere between 7 and 9% depending on your credit worthiness. So it's important to understand that it's getting more difficult to have a home because the cost is going up. But not only in the cost going up in regards to the deductibles, but the actual premiums haven't come down either. So if you're going to raise my deductible to 2% wind and hail, which basically makes it not feasible for me to get my roof replaced if I don't have the cash available because I have to finance it, what's my next step? Well, you'd expect premiums to come down, but no, premiums are actually going up as well, which are causing the escrow to move higher, which causes your monthly payments and your mortgage and escrow to move higher as well, which basically starts to talk about the affordability of homes. This is one of the major factors. It's not just the mortgage that makes it unaffordable. It's the insurance and the property taxes that do. Texas. Oh, Tejas, the land where the West began. What you're seeing right now is a lot of people starting to transition over the 1% deductible. They're going from 1.5% up to 3% in regards to the wind and hail deductible. Like I said before, wind and hail in Texas is where the rubber meets the road because the first thing you're going to get replaced is your roof because of the hail damage you're likely to receive every single year. And insurers know that, so they're going to increase those rates to roughly, I would say, 2% or 3%. But you would think that they would lower their premiums, and they're not. So I'm going to bring over here my current policy, and we're going to talk about what this looks like moving forward in regards to this. So this is my current policy. As you can see, it says dwelling replacement, $557,000. Again, that's roughly 25% to 30% over the tax base of my home. So when you're talking about a 2% deductible, wind and hail, they are valuing the full replacement cost of my home 25 to 30% higher and taking the 2% from that, which leads me with a deductible of $11,140. That means that if I want to get my roof replaced and say my roof was $30,000, I would have to come out of pocket $11,140 before minus the insurance, what the insurance is going to pay to basically get my roof replaced. That's almost half in some cases on most people's roofs when you're talking about getting a replacement. Now, this is what we're talking about in regards to overall pricing. You would think, well, okay, if they're going to do that, you would think that the premiums would come down. Well, not so fast, my friend, because we start talking about premiums, and forgive me if I'm coughing right now. When we start talking about premiums, premiums are not coming down. Matter of fact, premiums are remaining higher, and higher they will remain. A lot of it's because it's offsetting the cost of premiums on the coast. They're recouping the cost, and we're all sharing in these quote-unquote exogenous events together. As you can see, my premium was $5,275. I believe last year was like $4,300 and some change because I had a new roof put on and I had a new roof discount. I need to call them on that. But it's important to understand that if you're going to increase my deductible on my roof, I should be met with a lower premium, and that's not what is occurring. So, Kevin, what are you getting at here? Well, it's important to understand when you buy a home, it's more than just the mortgage that you need to consider. We're talking about taxes, we're talking about insurance, we're talking about maintenance costs. We're talking about deductibles that are need to be paid. We're talking about all the different things outside of just the inputs of buying things to fill up the home. These are the things that people rarely think about, especially when you see your payment going up every single year. It starts to bite into your cash flows, and you have to understand how that's going to impact you moving forward. Now, people will say, well, I will just rent. Think about this. Even with rents and higher property values, and higher insurance costs, they're going to pass that through to you and raise those rents as well. Now, understand this. You're not immune to it just because you rent. Everybody has to deal with these things, these rising costs all over the country, regardless of your status. So it's important to make sure you negotiate your premiums, and you basically start going out and seeing other providers as well, and using those providers to battle against each other to make sure you come out with the best deal you possibly can. Whether it's a Progressive like I just showed you, whether it's a State Farm or whomever, you could actually put them against each other and make them compete for your business, because the environment is becoming less competitive. There's an environment of insurance agents and insurance lobbyists that are going down to the Texas quote unquote legislature and asking for these things. Just like recently in Texas, Atmos Energy asked for a 10% rate increase, and they got it through writing. So these lobbyists are going through and asking for rate increases, and they're getting them however they can, because we talk about competition. We talk about there's so many different insurance carriers out there, but with the high regulations, they come in and the competition basically goes away, and the margins get so thin. They make a ton of money, of course, but we have very limited options in regards to who we can work with, because you know what? When they make a mandate of raising deductibles across the entire industry, we're all hurt with that. So here's the takeaway. Make sure you're battling, competing, negotiating, changing your your provider when you can to get the best deal moving forward, because prices will continue to move higher, and it's important to understand that you don't have to be subject to those price changes, even though some of them are going to be mandated across the entire industry. I hope this has been a valuable use of your time. I hope I've given you some insight to what's going on behind the scenes. It's imperative to understand, yes, they're raising your deductibles. Yes, they're doing what they can to basically, they're going to come out and say, oh, well, our costs are going up and we can't insure. We got to do all these different things. But guess what, Mr. and Mr. Insurance Company? You're making billions of dollars in profits. So you're doing quite well. So something's got to give. State Farm, billions of dollars of profits. Progressive, billions of dollars of profits. You're not just breaking even. You're doing quite well. So understand, we see you. The consumer sees you. And we know it's not a competitive environment. And that's why you can get away with these things, because it's anti-competitive. If it was a true competitive market, there would be no outsized profits like Adam Smith would say. If we had true competition, there could be other insurers that can come in and undercut you and bring down prices. But we know it's not competitive. We know it's oligopolistic. We know the competition is only with a few handful of you guys making all of the money, and we get it. But it's important to know when we see our declaration pages to know what's going on and why and where they're recouping a lot of the quote unquote cost in the contract. Thank you guys for listening to this 9 Innings podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. You have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@nineeyecapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.nineeyecapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. Sorry for the cough. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, power, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at 9EyeCap or at MLB to CFP, and subscribe to our Substack. Now what? Insurance is with us. Insurance is going up. And all we can do is educate ourselves and make sure we're making the right decisions for our family. Thank you guys for listening. Stay humble, stay safe, my friends. I'll see you again soon.